Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first Challenger Cup Grand Final match for the fall split. Bringing you all the action, all the way from the North American region. I am Ranconius, joining us from Australia, of course, and joining me, of course, the American homeboy. It is Mom Target.
So, alright, welcome everybody to the finals. I am, as always, a little bit quiet during this first bit as I scurry through the bands because they were, well, fast and furious as Cirquet, Awelish, Bologna, and where is the bug? Where's Kepri? I mean, it's a K. It's not that hard to find in the alphabet, but it's between Kali and Kukulkan.
Do you know what's been let through?
I'm getting ready to click her right. Go.
Even before you click her in, it's just like what has been let through. It's Hell. Hell is online. She's going to be making her debut in the Challenge Cup.
Look what was also let through. The Odin was also allowed through, meaning that the hard counter to Hell was immediately picked. However, Free K-Spot then immediately go for their favorite combo of Freya and Ares once again. So they locked them in almost immediately, and now they're finally taking a second to think, meaning that I can actually look at this and talk instead of just madly click buttons. So, Giannis, though, is the hover. We're going to wait to show you guys until it's actually locked in. But yeah, so Odin, that hard counter to Hell was picked up immediately after Hell was picked up as well. And then, of course, if Sun Wukong goes up against Hell in the solo lane, if it's a solo Hell versus a mid lane Hell, then Hell's going to have a bit of trouble up against Wukong as well. Though, Hell versus Giannis in mid. Giannis is a little bit better only because of his mobility, though Hell does certainly have a decent job clearing ban. This is an interesting ban coming out from Inverse Esports.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this stage in the draft, it need to be something interesting. What? Okay. Well, I mean, they were obviously watching the last game. It's just like, what was the major impact pick? I'm agreeing with them here. I think it was the Thanatos.
The quadra kill on Thanatos definitely a problem. So I can appreciate it, and it's odd to see. But again, that's what you get in the later rounds is focused picks, not just power picks or bans in this case. And then Apollo picked up by Sonoshire after Rama was banned out by Free K-Spot. There are still a couple gods that do well against Freya, but they don't necessarily do well with the rest of the composition. So Apollo is sort of what they were forced into there. Certainly not a bad character, though.
Apollo's never a bad character. He's just a generic pick, right? It's just like, what can we use in the duo? Apollo, right? He's just your baseline stock standard ADC.
I mean, he provides some
okay, so there's 2 points I'd like to point out.
I agree. So, continue.
Agni and Apollo are like your balancing points for mid lane and for your hunter role. Okay. Both are who the heck is that?
Oh, come on. Don't tell me you don't recognize what a spider looks like.
Is that actually Arachne? That's such a funky looking god card.
I don't misclick here. And yes, that's the older... Oh, yeah, that's before they brought Smite to Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the old Arachne card. They've changed it in game, so that would explain why you... Yep, so that's that would be Arachne. And then, though, to have some fun, they decided to lock in Naja as well. So...
I give up.
I just thought you didn't know what a spider looked like, and I'm like, she's even using a Black Widow skin. It's not even like it's...
Okay, this actually makes sense. It's going to be Hell mid from Free K-Spot. It's going to be Arachne in the solo, and it's going to be Thor jungle. Then, obviously, duo lanes left. So, it's going to be Odin and Apollo in the duo lane. It's going to be SWK solo, Neja in the jungle, and Giannis in the mid.
Yes.
And, unless it's Neja support. It could be Neja support.
Well, in a second, let me check the rosters, but I am...
I feel like it's going to be the Odin. But the thing I say about Neja and being Neja's support is that you can get on Freya's face and she can't ult out of your ult.
Yeah, so Sinosure is the support here. So there's going to be Odin support. The big thing here is that Arachne actually does reasonably well against Wukong because of her kits. She does a reasonably good job of countering him. Plus, of course, she has some heal, some self-sustain, and that Bluestone pendant that stacks up to 2 times, but it procs every time you do damage with a magical ability. That includes her Spiderlings. That includes her dot damage on her Envenom. So she's got lots of damage that will harass Wukong, just like Wukong is good at harassing other people.
I didn't even consider that. Holy cow.
Yeah, yeah. At least I believe that they still do apply that damage. I could be wrong. That's often one of those things that gets tweaked without being in the patch notes because something gets fixed on the back end that's not necessarily worth noting, but it turns into tweaking something like the pets. So we will see what happens there. That said, Naja, very interesting. Naja, good in... I mean, the biggest thing is again, what's Hell useful for? Burst heals. What's Naja good at? Keeping somebody out of a fight. If you Naja alt Hell, and, you know, you don't hit her when she sees immune, she's out of the fight for a significant period of time, if not dead. So that's huge. On the other side, though, on Free K-Spot, this Ares is going to be huge for pulling people into a Thoradunk, pulling people into a Freya Ultimate, pulling people into a Hell Disperse.
Yeah, it's kind of like setting up for the wombo combo. And I mean, the thing about running Hell towards the middle of the map as well that I really, really like is there's a lot more farm comes down that middle of the map. She's so vulnerable in the solo lane, but middle lane's shorter. There's more farm in and around that mid lane. She's going to be getting back camps. She's going to be getting mid camps, potentially. She's going to be getting red buff. So, I mean, her mana sustain is kind of like a little bit off early. That's fine, because you're going to hit 5 a lot quicker in the mid lane. You're going to be able to switch to that light stance and sustain it up a little bit more. There's just a lot more for her to do in the early game, which is why I really, really like it towards the mid lane. Will it work out against Giannis? Giannis has better clear. And he's able to poke her whenever she comes in to shove the wave as well. So she's got to be very careful with how she uses her abilities. But other than that, I actually like this.
I'm very excited. Everything's a little bit unique, but everything makes sense in its own decision-making. That said, we'll be back in about a minute, actually, as we've talked through most of the spectator time. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the finals of this week's North American Challenger Cup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly. Alright, everybody, we are into the game. Well, almost everybody. Radnakini's still waiting. Apparently, Naja's sleeping on the job. But, anyways, we are into your finals. Free K-Spot up against Inverse Esports. If you're somebody who's familiar with Smite in terms of standard, Hunter goes in the duo lane, etc., a little bit of a confusing composition considering some of the picks, but at the end of the day, still a fairly two compositions that make a lot of sense when you take the moment to think about them. That said, Free K-Spot running, once again, their Mage 80 carry with the Freya being played by Full Penetration. Elbow Chacho playing the support Ares. Mindy Rocks 420 in the mid lane on Hell. Kopabi on Thor in the jungle, and then Cliff in the solo lane as Arachne, who is doing the old Smithy's Hammer start.
Interesting. Okay, it means she'll be able to go toe-to-toe.
Yep.
And she's got a lot of health online, so, you know, her first item pickup is gonna be, obviously,
Rootforged.
Yep, that one. And... Shut up. Okay. But the level 1 potential is really, really high as well. You can also see that Cliff has come over to the mid lane to place down some spiderlings and some webs. This buys Hell a lot of space and a lot of time, and gives them some really, really good contention for the mid camps, but that's just been reset because Apollo just walked over and grabbed them.
Oh, that's sort of the point, though. But again, it's all about manipulating your options. We are going to see Radnaki doing what the same thing actually Kobe is doing as well, where the Thor and the junglers effectively are both purchasing potions of physical might and then waiting until the last second to start running into lane. And it looks like Cynosure may have actually done the same thing. No, he was just simply waiting for something else. I'm not quite sure what. But they will get there theoretically within about 2 seconds of them spawning. So you, okay, yep, 1 second exactly. So Kopabi did a very good job there of not wasting any of his potion, but still maxing out on all of his slots that he needed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't carry 3 consumables around. Have a look at this red buff area, though. They might be thinking about an invade. They've been spotted out, though. They were standing right on top of a wall. Yeah. And they're just like, you know what? I'm not going to fight. That's smart. That's very, very smart play coming through from Inverse Esports. They have the late game, and they're playing for it. Definitely.
Though, at the same time, Free K-Spot has a lot of late game power as well. Arachne, again, arguably, depending on how you build her, falls off very hard late game. Thor definitely falls off late game. However, Hell and Freya, 2 massive hyper carries late game. And Mindy Rock's actually in a lot of trouble right now. It's going to be able to heal herself up though relatively nicely. But this is that poke that we were talking about. Naja has a stun that also pulls himself to her. So Rednecky has plenty of harass available while Mindy and Thor do clear out their mid lane. And Radnaki now going to go on to Kobe, actually. And then, oh, the damage! So, that happens. First of all, it's called Ring Toss, ability that a lot of people forget about, and it bounces between characters that are within a set distance from each other, and it bounces up to 7 times. But every time it hits, it does a certain amount of damage, plus it debuffs your physical protections by an escalating amount. Meaning that when you bounce back and forth between a Thor and a Hell several times, you hit Thor first, it's going to probably hit Thor last and then kill him. And because they saw Free K-Spot doing, or try to do their red buff, and actually do their purple buff, they're going to come over, steal their red buff, and then consider stealing their purple buff.
Yeah, and this is all because their own purple buff was taken away. They're going to go for the... They're going to go for Elbow Chacho. He's actually going to be the focus out here, and he is the Ares. He needs that early pressure. Turquoise is going to get that one up. Sinosia's still looking for aggression. They're not quite done here. Full penetration's in a bit of a rough spot, but also look at what they're trying to do here. The full penetration, Radnaki, Sinosia, everyone's starting to get low. They've got a lot of damage on the Radnaki. So low. One more auto attack. Copperbee is going to get that one. Finally. This is... You know what? Look at these compositions. This is not going to be a farm fest. This is going to be an absolute damn near impossible game to call, because it's just going to be a bloodbath.
It is going to be a bloodbath, and I think that this is compared to the last game where it was early game, and then if you were able to hyper-focus and get the right target late game, you're good. This is just... We've got some early game kill potential, we've got some mid game kill potential, we've got some late game kill potential. Everybody's going to die. Speaking of death, Cliff taking down a half health right now, needs to be careful, and Mango de Bay doing a great job of just continuing to poke out the Arachne, though she is healing up relatively nicely with her abilities.
Yeah, obviously, the Venomous Bite, it does a rather nice job for Cliff. Drops the Spiderlings down as well, he's going to clear out waves. Not instantly, but he's got sustain when he does do so. If he does decide to pop the 2 as well, he can trade quite well. So, the interesting thing about running the Arachne in the solo lane is you get Farmina, which is all well and good. Excuse me.
You just swallow a spider. We're going to assume that Ranconius is getting in trouble for swallowing a spider. We'll be back with him in a moment. But while we do see mid-camp spawning up here, and we will see Mindy and Kokobi taking their mid-camp, or rather their mid-lane, while Radniki gets solo farm on this one. And Free K-Spot's not even going to contest, which is a very interesting decision from them, considering the way we saw them play last game. And they're actually going to lose out on both of them.
That moment when you choke on your own saliva.
Alright. So, anyways, we'll wait for Ranconius to come back to us. I'm assuming that he will be alright, which is why I'm not panicking here. Also, I can't exactly fly over to Australia and save him, so there's that too. But anyways, Kobe and
I'm good.
Mindy Rock's having a little bit of trouble here in the mid lane, not getting stuff cleared out, just getting pushed under tower. So,
I mean, that's what you expect for Hell. That's what you expect, right? Giannis has just got good clear from like level 4, level 5. He's able to just shove out and be a nice presence. But Hell, she doesn't 100% clear. So that's the kind of problem.
Can if she gets level, I mean, when she gets to level 3 on her Dispel, which should be by level 4, level 5, level 6 she should have no problem with it. That said, Mindy Rock's rotating over to the solo lane. Cliff is out of mana, could be in a little bit of trouble, but Mango de Bay is also low. Actually, what's Thor's already on? Oh, Thor's going up in the air. Radniki was getting aggressive. Thor's just going to disengage, and Radniki looking for a little bit more pressure.
Oh, actually coming into the jungle as well. Mango de Bay is looking for a bit of aggression. Just going to keep pressure up, because Cliff can't farm without his blue buff, remember? He's got to get that blue buff, otherwise he is in some significant trouble. Look at the left-hand side of mid, though, no escape. Elbow Chacho is going to try and grab one, doesn't grab either. But that is going to be beads, one burned by both Nasia and CV on the Giannis, so they are down for 180 seconds.
Good use of the ultimate right as the Odin came down. Odin Cage has not actually been used yet. Oh, there's the team. There's Radnski in a lot of trouble. Is going to use his heal to try and prop himself back up. Odin Cage is there. Can they get him? They do get Sinosure right there. The camera is not cooperating right now. But there we go.
Uh-oh, Mango de Bay's coming in on the backside of this one. He might just whack down the magic cudgel and use the tickle stick for the maximum ticklage. But look at Radnaki. He's in real trouble. Turquoise is going to find one. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. In the meantime, Kobe forced to run out. They might actually be able to take this one away, but Cliff fights really well in this jungle.
Yes, he does. And it'll be interesting to see what happens now. And that was an unfortunate ultimate from Odin, but at the end of the day, his death set up for another kill.
Uh-oh.
led to bad things.
Oh, Cliff. Oh, Cliff is coming in here, but not before Turquoise gets baited on towards killing off full penetration. Is able to get the Venomous Bite, but that is going to be it from our Arachne. Turquoise is fine. He can farm up the next wave. He's totally fine. Do a wrap around Arachne. Do it, Cliff.
A little bit low on health, but that's about it.
Do it, Cliff. Do a wrap around.
Nah, not against 2. Especially with Cynossure's ultimate available. The Odin Cage is brutal against an Arachne. Arachne relies so much on that heal to try and sustain her at all if she goes for a sustain fest. And she also relies on her attack speed, which is buffed on 2 of her abilities. And because of that, it's...
Oh, Berserker's Barrage is actually doing a nice amount to Mango's to Bay, and the stun as well. They've got slows, yeah. Forced to use the ultimate. Alright, so they've now actually got a lot of kill potential over here on towards Mango's. So he's actually going to be careful now, because if Kobe goes up and he's a long way forward at any point in time, they can kill him.
Should be able to kill him, definitely. So we're going to see them take this blue buff. And we're just going to continue working on farm. Really quickly, yeah, I mean, we're seeing, again, the problem here with Freya, when you're comparing her to other hunters, is it's difficult to actually set a track on where should she be in comparison to them. Because if it's a hunter and they're both building dev gloves, okay, what's the stack count? With Freya, it's, okay, where is she at in her itemization? What power spike does that give her? And it's a lot more complicated than the math. That said, I would definitely want to say that, I mean, when you look at the numbers alone, Apollo's ahead, but he's also very, very deep into his dev gloves, while Freya is just starting her boots up.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting pass, right? But the hidden power of Hasten Fatalis, there's a reason it's picked up. It's such a good item. There's just so much hidden power in it. The passive is good. The 10% movement speed as well. It just makes you so much less vulnerable to ganks. It's insane, actually.
Especially early on Freya, who her pulse also slowing you even harder. Double tap onto CV is going to do a lot of it for Kobe, but that's about it. And now the question is where...
Oh, down goes the ultimate Odin Cage on the left-hand side of things. Cynosure wanted to go aggressive, but now he's trapped in the cage with the Freya. That's the one thing that the cage does do. It traps you in there with whoever you grab.
Definitely, but again, I think that's a reasonable trade overall, because we're going to have a whole lot more. We're going to see the rest coming out here from Brochacho onto Cynosure. Can't get much more damage up. We're going to see the coming out. It's going to pull at least one. They're going to both, actually. El Brochacho very, very low, but... There we go, he's going to fall, and now it's full penetration, trying to find something, can't quite seem to find. There we go, Pulse is going to get it, but now Brochacho is oh so low, and Turquoise, oh, there's the stun! Radnik, he says, thank you for setting this up, but we all know that the Prince needs to kill. And the Lotus Prince does exactly that. It's the Lotus Crown Prince, he's a spoiled kid. According to the lore, I'm not talking about the person, I'm talking about the character.
Okay.
Don't report me for BM.
Yeah. No, yep, nope. just not gonna touch that one.
I'm actually not even familiar with Radnak, to be perfectly honest. I'm very impressed with this play, though. Doing a very good job. 2-2-2 on Naja.
Yeah, he's not bad, but you know, he's not doing overly well, but he's just in a decent spot. It's really, really nice. He's getting some nice roams around, putting some nice pressure, and to get to a grand final in a Challenger Cup tournament, that's no easy ask either. So, you know, that's impressive for me. Somewhat of a little bit of a no-name. I mean, Mango, Cynosure, Turquoise is a little bit of a no-name, but then again, he's been up there as well. And up against the likes of Full Penetration, Elbow Charger, Coke Baby. I mean, even Cliff I've heard a little bit about.
Cliff, brief history lesson while we actually... Oh, never mind. No time for history. Thor's gotta die. As here we go. Ultimate coming out from Naja. 1, 2, 3, and down he goes. And he will fall down to Naja. First Naja, a successful Naja ultimate of the game. Cliff was the founder of a team called Cliffhangers that then split up a couple times. Several players did move on to the SPL, or at least try to get into the SPL at different points. Vanish does actually first change the message coming up from Brochacho for the first time over full penetration is going to touch CD. And Turquoise is going to kill many rocks, however, though, due to that cage problem. But now Radnaki in some trouble. Beautiful 3-man Mez there, and then we see the ball or the disc come around that ring for days. And now full penetration and it's going to fall to Turquoise. And now what will occur is we'll actually see beautiful usage of that Somersault Club. Brochacho and Trouble needing to get out the bottom side. We are going to see Cliff continuing to go in. This is Cliff's biggest problem. He's going into Turquoise, going to finish off Brochacho. And Thor, no mind, Thor, Radnaki is going to fall there to him. Cliff is going to fall to Mango to Bay, and Kobe trying to find a kill onto someone, but he can't quite decide who. There's an Apollo here. The Odin managed to make it out. Kobe is forced to beads. Can he get his cooldowns back up? With the question. There we go. Gonna get the hammer toss off, and away he does fly. But now 11-6 at 11 minutes in versus esports. Certainly feeling good right now.
Okay, so what actually is a really nice spot for them to fight? Really slightly closed off jungle control, right? If they ever fight in and around the mid camps, they can lock it down with some spiderlings, they can lock it down with Ares. Freya does ridiculous damage and those really tiny choke damage, choke holes, because she's doing AoE damage to everyone in there. Yeah, it's just, that's where they want to fight. They need to fight in a very closed off spot. If they fight somewhere more open, Gold Fury Pit, lane,
I mean, I think it'll still be good for them, but it simply makes it harder.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at Hell, when she uses her Dispel, or Disperse, her Dark Stance 3, the damage is just, it's unreal. And it's a very large AoE, so it doesn't need to be the tightest of spaces. But at the same time, it certainly does help when nobody can get away from it. It's,
it's actually pretty much perfectly the size of a buff camp circle.
Yes.
Right? That's basically perfectly the size of a Hell. 3, look at the rotation towards the right-hand side. Mangoes is looking to go super aggressive on towards Cliff, but there's so many people here.
Yeah, those very interesting now. They're going to see as well. Mango probably fall here. He does, especially with the aim. Hopefully gets the kill. However, because they know the rotation's there, we're going to see Najat and Giannis ultimate as well. They're going hard onto the Gold Fury, and only Freya is here to continue.
Yeah, trying to come across here now. Free K spot, they've left 2. Inverse have already got that one. Trying to get out now. Full penetration could get engaged on, but there's been obviously the Arnisol and the Odin Cage burn to get this one, so they're just going to trade it for the solo lane tower, and that's okay. That's an okay trade. They got a kill, they got a tower.
Very reasonable. Assuming they actually can finish it off, which they should be.
But, hey. It's a little bit of something. It's a little bit of something back. Interesting to see where this game starts to go, because Cliff needs to get into this game. Currently doesn't have a kill to his name. He's only got 3 assists, so that's worrying. That's really worrying. He might have to transition more into a tankier route, actually.
Which is again, possible. Bertacho are going to look for a kill here. Turquoise as well. We're going to see the ultimate coming out there. No escape, and Turquoise is going to be. He will be alright. We are going to see Cliff over here from Mango. Slow off the Mango as well, but there we go. We're going to see the run coming out. Apollo's going to go up into the air. Going to come back down on top of him. Thor going up though. Arachne going up in as well. And Turquoise is in trouble, and he is going to die to him. Bertacho gets the kill there. That's a shutdown for him. Mindy getting a lot of kill. Mindy going to get the heal though. Very good for them. And El Bertacho with a double kill.
Yeah, it's a free K spot, finding some nice kills. Interesting to note that they could get engaged
in the red.
Sorry?
Just I was remarking that 2 members of Free K spot were in the red for most of that fight.
Mm-hmm. And that's the really good part, is that they're just able to manage those health bars, just the sliver of those health bars that they need to manage, and they're doing it quite successfully. They're doing a damn good job of it. So I want to see where they're able to transition from here. Like, what are they able to actually start doing? Kobe's starting to get somewhere in his item builds. He's doing a really good job this game. Let's actually have a look across the map. Have a look at this, though, from Turquoise. He has to die. Look at his kills. Look at his KDA. He's 7-1 and 2 already.
He just got shut down. So the shutdown gold went over to Bertacho.
Yeah, so...
Well, I mean, he needs to keep dying. Yes, I agree that if K-Spot wants to win this, they have to keep killing the Apollo. But Apollo's like, okay, Freya's got a Fatalis. I'm 1,000 gold ahead of her. I'll just buy a Fatalis now. Just whatever. I'll get it now. I'll kill her later.
It's not even the fact that Freya's got a Fatalis. It's not that at all. It's have a look at the entire lineup that he's up against. Okay. Hell needs to get in range. Cliff needs to get in range and stay in range. Kobe needs to get in range and stay in range. Brochacho needs to get in range and stay in range. If full penetration's attacking him, he's probably got problems already. So the Hasten Fatalis just makes total sense, and he doesn't need penetration at this point in time, nor an Itch of Isle, because that really doesn't do a whole heap.
No, definitely not. I like it, and I will definitely like seeing what he goes into next. This Ancient Blade, probably going to be going into a Witchblade on Freya. Not a huge fan of it personally, because that means she's not going to get a lot of damage done, but at the same time, I understand it. We're going to see on Mango here. Mango's going to put one back really hard. Cage is down, though, and so he's able to disengage, and Mindy is in trouble because of it. Cliff trying to stay outside, so Mindy is going to fall. Cliff going to come back down on top of him, losing his target, though. Cliff can actually get blown up instead by Mango, and then Thor on this other side deciding just to simply give up the fight. Over in the duo lane, mid lane tower going to fall. Duo lane, we are going to see Turquoise coming in, going to finish on this tower very quickly, then come in very deep with the moves, and the and his mesmerized, and he is going to finish off him as well. as El Brochacho looking for something. I don't know what Brochacho thinks he can get out of this right now. He's 2 levels behind, or 3 levels behind everybody around him except for support, who's a level ahead of him. No escape.
Well, he's going to get a 4-man ultimate. That's not something you see every day.
Yeah, definitely not. But that's all he's going to get.
Hey, at least he got something out of it, right? He gets the swag style points of, hey, look, I got a 4-man ulti on hi-rez.
Yeah, so we're going to see some aggression coming out from Cliff, or defense, I should say, coming out from Cliff and Mindy, as they do try and collapse on the Apollo, but they need to progress quickly. Starting into his ultimate, they're not going to be able to get much more damage off onto him. And so that's now, Apollo, or whatever. Spectator camera's acting up today, my apologies. But Apollo able to take out a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower on the right hand side. Both of his towers still remain. Both of the mid lane towers still remain from Inverse compared to the one that's down in the mid lane on Free K spot. And then the solo lane towers are equal as well. So it's definitely in favor of Inverse in terms of the big objectives. And the Gold Fury is back up in 30 as well.
Well, Gold Fury looks to be the contested portion of the map at this point in time. Stevie, he wants to rotate. He's looking to do things from the middle side of the map. I mean, he can. There's a lot of potential in this team. Like, they've actually beat out some really, really decent opponents in their semi-final matchup to get here. So it's not like, again, even though their opponents are good players as well, they beat out Junipera and the rest of the Burly Men. There's options for them to outplay them. They've shown that they can get here and be here for a very good reason, and I think they've got a lot better composition.
I agree that I think late game especially, K-Spot's got a very solid point. But, you know, if we look at this net worth chart, the highest net worth on K-Spot is Ares. Which is never good. Thor going up into the air, though. See where he comes down is the question. In the could have looked
Yeah, I expect the Odin cage to go down here in just a second. It does. It's a really nice wall of multiple members in their turquoises ripping people apart. Keep your eyes on him. What is he able to do here? 2 go down through the portal, immediately bees out of it. 4 penetration's in trouble. He's surely going to get so beautiful up here in a second. They kill him off, and now can they get on towards Mindy as well? Mindy's in trouble. Mindy, what are you going to do?
Well, she healed herself up there for a second. She went from a quarter back to 3/4, back to a quarter, back to dead, all in 2 abilities and a basic attack, because Apollo's hitting that hard right now. But big kill. K-Spot stole the Gold Fury. Yay. But they also lost 3 members.
And a lot of pressure on this right-hand side of things. Cliff has no mana. He has to just get out. They can also pressure the mid lane, and that's the important part from Inverse, is that, yes, sure, we gave away the Gold Fury, but we're pressuring the map, and it's so much more important to do that.
Definitely. And we're going to see... Oh, okay, Brochacho and Kobe just bouncing back and forth with that ring toss for the full duration. Hurting Kobe a lot, as he has no... lifesteal. Or excuse me, not lifesteal, protections. Really quickly, take a look down at Arachne's build. What are your thoughts?
Chinsa... Whoa. I prefer the Executioner. To be perfectly damn well honest, I prefer the Executioner.
Yeah, I do too. I understand, again, back when Arachne used to be picked at all, Chin size was popular, mainly because A, it was less expensive, B, it provided you with the same amount of attack speed, and C, it still, you know, there were a lot more tanky characters in the game. Right now, sure, Chin size is great against Odin, kind of, Wukong, again, also kind of, but Executioner would do so much as well. I would have liked to have seen Jotuns or a Mail of Renewal, and
she's not getting kills. Like, she's only getting assists. That's the real trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. And I think the chin size is not helping, especially against somebody like Najar, Giannis, or Apollo, who are the people that you really need to get kills on. Sure,
and it's just the cost of chins.
Exactly.
Actually, fight's gonna go down. Having a look. At this point in time, I think it's actually going in the way of Free K-Spot. They're doing some nice damage. Mango's starting to back out here. Cyno's just been forced away at half health. He'll start regenning. He's going to be able to base and just come back in at top. So actually, not a lot happened. Caster's Curse. Oh, look, a fight! No, never mind.
Speaking of fights, mid lane Brochacho looks like not quite able to make it happen. And so he's just going to be happy to farm up this wave with Thor, and they will... hang out once again. Again, not a whole lot that you can take on this map for either team, just due to the fear of the other team coming in and blowing something up. Though there is that red buff that K-Spot really needs to get over, and they need to do, because it's just sitting there. It's free farm, and as long as it sits there, it's longer that the cooldown on it respawning has to wait. You know, this isn't Dota where it spawns every minute on the minute, or every 2 minutes, I forget which exactly. It spawns on a cycle after it falls down. So we are going to see Thor getting taken up into the air. Season Dribble, Odin Cage comes down, and Thor's actually on the outside of it, so he's going to... Oh, he actually leaps inside of the cage, and he just make it up into the air in time. Can he make it down safely is the question. Hell, in so much trouble, is going to be able to not actually heal himself up, and is going to fall down to Turquoise, and now Turquoise is going to look a little more. However, he's going to have to eat and mez himself out of that, and is going to disengage. Penetration and deciding to back off as well. Cliff topside, wanting to ult out onto that as well, and actually on the Cynosure, not able to finish him off, however, and Cliff is going to follow the Turquoise. Full penetration is going to finish off Cynosure with that Doctor Discretion though. And now full penetration needs to get out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Elbow Charger's going to blink back in, looking for the chains on the Red Naki. He's low. He's very low. We'll be able to pick one up for Elbow Charger. Pays with his life. Kopabi, get out of here, son. You do not want to go back in there. And again, Turquoise lives through another fight. Look at his score at this point in time. Look at his score. Look at his gold. 12, 1, and 5. He is massive. He is off the chain.
In hand right
massive. Now. He's just look at this gold. Look at it. He's going to go back and pick up a crit item. And they're going to go, well, what do we do now? No one has been able to touch him at all. The person that is supposed to be touching him and really being all over him is Cliff. And Cliff's not got near him. And Cliff built chin size. Sure, if you have the gold, if you're ahead on Arachne, which you should be, but you're not, build chins. Do not build chins in this scenario. You need the penetration so that your one is doing a lot more damage. You need the penetration so that your auto attacks are doing more damage, because you're doing so many goddamn of them, and the penetration for the rest of your ability. Everything. You need that pen. Going chin size at this point in time, it gives you a little bit of increased damage. Huzzah. I really don't care about that. You need more than that.
I mean, he's doing a good job here against Cynosure now. This is the one case where it's actually alright, but he's going to get blown up here and needs to get up and get out of there once again. As far as the
if he has an Executioner there, he half health Shinoja. Because he doesn't have an Executioner, he does nothing. But look at the dive, though.
Phil's going to fall there, Cynosure looking for more, and CV is going to finish off Mindy, and... No, actually Thor made it out. I thought that he died. One of those things where there's just a large explosion of death, and somebody survived. And we're going to see them go for the Fire Giant here, 24 minutes in, for a Fire Giant, but they are fairly well off, got 3 level 20 at it, including a level 20 Apollo, who has a short sword and level 3 beads. Cynosure really shouldn't be tanking it, but hey, he did. He'll be fine. They will be getting that Fire Giant.
Oh, Ultimate's actually low.
And Freya manages to make it up to the ultimate, but she is going to fall since she lands. He's going to finish her off. And anything be a response from 3K Spot, because they get people low, but they can't seem to finish.
Oh man, Kopabi is going to go down as well. This could be pretty much game. Brochacho is dead. That is the deicide. Next person up, actually Hell, just respawning now, and Cliff is about to come back up, but it's 40-second death time. There's a Phoenix about to fall here.
I would like to see them go for the Phoenix, but it looks like instead they're going to try to push all their waves up, because this is the only wave that they have at all pushed up. Everything else is pushed up towards their tier 1s. So instead, I like this decision to, okay, just get the waves going. Apollo's going to go split push, because the rest of his team needed the back. They all had gold to spend now, and Apollo's going to actually start the Gold Fury now. Not sure if I agree with this call, but at the same time, as we said before, it's anti-snowball. Let's pick us up the 3rd Gold Fury of the game, which is worth quite a lot, and get ourselves some solid anti-snowball, and even also just some more fanciness. I mean, Apollo's hitting for 600 crits without Deathbringer.
Yeah, and he's doing that, and Audacity passive. There's just so much going for him. The reason I don't actually see him split pushing is the fact that there's so much invested in him, and they can't do a lot without him. So I expect them to go with him, because they can also win fights on the Phoenixes with the Fire Giant. Also, crucial factor in the middle of a fight, which is when Hell's going to be doing most of the healing, because, you know, they're not going to be really able to disengage, not with this composition. Weakening Curse, Pestilence, Divine Ruin. Forget Hell's healing.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's we've seen it a couple times where the Weakening Curse with the Pestilence stacked on top of it means that Hell doesn't heal at all, which is huge for her. So that's a big deal. And then, of course, there's the Odin cage as well, which is, again, 0 heals.
It's just... I mean, look at it, like, and look at the build Hell's got. Breastplate of Valor. There's... What damage items is there online? Oh, Jotun's Wrath for Thor. Fantastic. Mail of Renewal. Steel Mail. Probably a Mystical Mail. Chin Size into Light Blade.
Actually, I would be...
Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're correct. The blink in from Cynosia gets the cage down onto multiple members. Down goes the ultimate as well from Radnaki, and they just walk through a couple of people. Full penetration, uses the ultimate to get out, not even for damage. Kobabe's absolutely dead. They're just going to walk through it. The itemization really letting them down right now for free K-Spot as they just walk through under the Phoenix. Don't care. 4 people dead. This is going to be the game.
That's a deicide right there. And so much damage coming out, and that is going to be a deicide. Turquoise blowing up the Titan right now, 1200 health on it and falling. And that is going to be 200, and GG Fountain. Radnaki diving because he felt like he could. Yeah, sure, but at the same time, yeah, kind of a waste, in my opinion. But it's going to be GG. 31 to 12.
3 Mails of Renewal. 3 Mails of Renewal.
It's a good item, but only if you're getting kills.
Yeah, they weren't getting kills. Mail of Renewal, they knew it. They knew that they weren't getting kills, so why get a mail? And the healing reduction works on the Mail of Renewal as well. So, it's just like, okay, now what? I think also a crucial factor was that the Spear, Enchanted Spear, was looking for a Spear of the Mages coming through from Elbro Chachu, but he never got there. He gets there, Hell actually does okay base damage and doesn't die forever. But she also doesn't heal all that much, so it's just they had real problems with damage. I don't like Runeforged Hammer start on Arachne. I absolutely hate that. If you're gonna go defensive item start, why don't you go the tier 2 for Mystical Mail? Why?
I mean, I understand that. It's again, there's the question of all of the different balancing to it and everything else. But that said, that is going to be the end of our broadcast. So thank you for again, first week. So we had some technical difficulties. We'll have some new we'll have some more assets by week 2. So looking forward to that. We'll have again some more of the crew rotating through next week as well. Also tomorrow morning, I believe it's 9:15 Eastern is our start time.
I know it's 11:15.
I guess I'm talking to a guy that's 12 hours or 14 hours off. So
11:15 p.m. my time. So I think it's 14 hours ahead.
Yeah, so
14 hours behind.
9:15 a.m. for Eastern,
okay.
Which puts it at 1:15 p.m. BST, 2:15 p.m. CEST. If you want to sign up, make check-in start an hour before that, so 8:15 in North America. Not that it matters because it is EU. So that'll be noon in England and 1 o'clock for the rest of Europe. If you want to play in the European Challengers Cup tomorrow, I believe it will be Ranconius and Verbalocity. So that should be a lot of fun. Plenty of puns.
I thought it was 1 p.m. check-ins. Also, hello.
Also, apparently Verbal's here. Anyways, hi.
Hi, Verbal.
Hello.
What were your thoughts on the itemization? Verbalocity, what were your thoughts on the itemization of that game? Like, is there anything else we missed? Anything we could really say? Because I think it was more than the fights. I think it was big.
That and Mail of Renewal. So many Mails of Renewal on as a backfoot item. That's the only thing I would really question there. But apart from that, fairly good game.
I mean, given that, Hell actually was capped out on CDR. So it was, she was in a nice place for cycling through those cooldowns, but the cooldowns did nothing. Combat Blink, because she was so getting wrecked.
But yeah, I think we should probably wrap up here.
Yep, so once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Ranconius, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? Go ahead and jump on over to Twitter at Ranconius. If you have any Australian friends, tell them to look for Smite Oceania, Australia and New Zealand on Facebook. That's actually our official Facebook group that we started basically a year ago. So if you are Australian or know somebody who is Australian, direct them there. They can keep up with all the other Australian stuff. But yeah, other than that, tune back in here tomorrow for the action, and every week thereafter, I'll be in and out as needed.
Yep. So you can find me at mtargetproduct on Twitter, or I'll be behind the scenes every Sunday, and some Saturdays and Sundays I'll be casting as well. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. Now go enjoy the SPL over on Smite Game 1. We'll see you all bright and early tomorrow.
Bye.